Hello and welcome to the newest Bondi business update video. I thought it'd be good maybe to start with a quick recap at the beginning and then do a longer one from the previous video. So if we go back 3 years ago, I started Bondi with Chingiskhan, my friend from uni. We were trying out a lot of different things, different small online businesses, different charity projects, and even a student organization. But we never saw that there was enough impact in this. So we wanted to find something that can really change a problem that we have in the world. We came across the problem that there's too many cars in cities at the moment because they're polluting, they're unsafe, and they're also really inefficient. And we have a strong belief that this will all change in the future and that there'll be a more efficient way to get around town, which is also more fun, more convenient, and a lot more sustainable. And then over the past 3 years, we've really done a huge amount of research. We've talked to a lot of the top CEOs in the mobility scene, and we've prepared now everything. We've got an app ready, we've got the bikes ready, and the team to carry out all the operations and everything else. Last year, we had a small pilot in Arnhem. It was quite successful, and this was also a good way for us to prove the concept and then to really bring on a significant amount of investment to carry out a bigger expansion. At this moment now, we're already in 7 cities in the Netherlands, we're at 15 employees, and we're expanding super fast. So we did basically most of that in around 4 months, and we're now just waiting for the warmer periods again. So in my last video, we just moved into this warehouse in The Hague, and we were trying to set up everything in preparation for our first launch. We were expecting the bikes to come quite soon, so we started bringing in some people to carry out all the different activities that we need to do, marketing, government relations, operations, and so on. Because it's really our aim to build an organization so that we can really grow this and have the right people in the right place. But unfortunately, there was quite a lot of delays. I think even in my video, I said that we're launching next month or something like that. But it ended up taking around another 5 months from that point. But this gave us a lot of time to really make sure everything was there and that we were ready for everything. But then when the bikes arrived, we had to get them from a warehouse in Rotterdam over here. We used the help of our community to assemble all these bikes, put on all the stickers so that they're ready to use and that it's really clear that it's a sharing bike. That was a lot of fun, and it was also really cool to see that everybody was coming out to help us. And we were getting really excited to really see the first people using the bikes. But of course, everything didn't work out as planned, and it actually still, from the point where everything was assembled, still took us another week to get the bikes out because some things in the software weren't ready. But then one evening, everything was ready, so we just said, okay, 12 o'clock tonight, we're gonna just launch all the bikes so people see it when they wake up in the morning. And it was really cool to see because some of the first bikes that we put on the street, people were already asking us, oh, how do I use it? What's the app called? And so on. And it was really nice to see that they could quickly see what to do and how to use it. I think we were all quite nervous because we'd never done this before and we didn't know what people would do at night, maybe try to steal them or whatever else. But actually we didn't see any of that at the beginning. But of course, we had quite a lot of problems in the first week. The first being that, kids are a little bit more tech savvy. So they quite quickly found out how to use the bikes, and our service is actually supposed to be 16 plus. And we thought at first, if we just write in the terms, confirm that you're 16 plus, that would be enough. But we quite quickly saw, of course, that they were just not following the rules and just using the bikes all the time. Of course, this isn't that safe for them. So we quite quickly just added in a ID verification. And then basically that problem was solved from that point. But it was really nice to see that people were just quickly using the bikes. We had extremely high usage at the beginning. In the first weeks when we launched, we had 100 bikes on the road and we were getting about 400 rides a day, which really exceeded our expectations actually. And what's really nice about this business is you don't need to promote too much because the bikes themselves are basically billboards on the street. So people see it, they know what it is. There's instructions on it as well, so they can quickly download the app and everything else. But of course we do a lot of promotion and so on. We've tried some different marketing stunts. We filmed a pretty cool video that's coming out soon. But if you guys have any cool ideas or some stunts that we could do, we're always happy to try something else, as we want to be a little bit different as well and bring out a fun spirit really. And we've learnt so much already from that first launch in The Hague. We had quite a few growing pains. We had some problems with the app and so on. But at this point it's much more robust than it was before. The bikes that we're using, the first batch, we got a lot of feedback from the users on what to improve, and now it's much more comfortable to ride. The basket's much more convenient, and then a lot of small things that we had problems with the first one. But we're always trying to improve and make sure that we can provide the best service possible. And also with the operations, we're always getting more and more efficient. We're thinking about how can we get around the city the best. So we're using cargo bikes, electric vans, electric cars, just to see what is really the best solution. And we're always talking to each other, telling each other little tips and tricks to see how can we be faster, where can we put the bikes so that they get used the most, and so on. Yeah, and we're also trying to make sure that the bikes are in the right place at the right time. So we've been working with the University TU Delft, who's been looking into our data, and we had a student actually who built a little tool for us, so we now know where can we put how many bikes at what time to make sure that they get used the most. This has been really cool and a fun learning experience, but also there have been some negatives at some points, of course. Some bikes have ended up in canals, or we've even had a couple that have been burnt. But honestly, this is a lot less than we expected from the beginning. We thought people would be taking them into their houses or just chucking them everywhere. But it's really a really low number, and most of the time, for example, if it's been in the canal, we can just clean it up, replace a few parts, and then put it back out on the road. And we're always trying to improve the hardware just to make sure that it can withstand basically anything. So we learned a lot from our first launch, and then we had another order of bikes coming in, and at first our plan was to do a big launch in another city. So we decided to launch then in 7 cities around the Netherlands. And yeah, we used everything we learned from the first time to make sure that we have kind of like a smoother launch. So the assembly was much quicker. We knew exactly what kind of warehousing to get, we knew what people to get and everything else. And I think at the end we were launching literally in 1 day in a city. So in The Hague it took us a couple of weeks to get all the bikes on the road, but now we just kind of know exactly where to put the bikes and how it works, so it's a much smoother process. And throughout this whole journey, we've really built a really strong team with different skill sets and so on. So it's really nice to see everybody working together and thinking along how we can improve. And I think we have a really fun culture. We're all relatively young, and we're just trying to do this together. It's kind of like a family vibe. And it's nice to hear when an intern has finished their period, they say like, oh, this was a great experience, and they really learned a lot. And that's just really nice to see, because we're all really working on this together, and we're trying to build something, and people believe in it. And all of this has been really cool, but at the end of the day, we're just really getting started. Even though we're in 7 cities, this is a small pilot, just to make sure that we can really prepare for a bigger rollout. Of course, there's going to be a lot of steps and challenges in between, but it's exciting to see. I think 2022 is going to be a really big year for us, and I'm really excited to see the team grow and to see what else we're going to achieve this year. It would be really cool if you follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and all of our socials, just to kind of follow the journey. But for now, that was the recap basically. If you're interested to see what else is happening and other challenges that we're facing, just subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
Now the question I want to learn from you is, like, you are closely watching startup space and all. What's your favorite startup in the mobility sector?
Yeah, there are multiple interesting ones, and try to get track of them. But there's one I would like to stress here. It's I think they're only operating in the Netherlands, I must say. It's bondi.city, if you like to pay them a visit. They are operating shared bicycle systems in the Netherlands in a couple of cities, and we cooperated with them. They have tons of data, but they also have a business to run, so they also don't have the time and the opportunities. So we had students helping them out there, and it was a great cooperation. And it's 2 young guys, students still, or I think around 25, and they started this company with the 2 of them. They operate these shared bicycle systems in multiple cities in the Netherlands, and I really admire that entrepreneurship. That's so inspiring, and these are 2 great guys. They work 24/7, I think.
Oh yeah.
But it's really inspiring to meet them and to discuss with them about the future of mobility. So I would mention them here as my favorite.
Oh, that's great. And I'll put their link in the show notes so that other people can also see.